What I've got here is one stolen emergency potato. Don't leave home without it. All right. I did get a request telling me that I should eventually do an episode on comfort food. And while I'm sure that comfort food is something we can all relate to, the truth is, it's such a broad topic that how am I supposed to cover it all in one episode? And what is comfort food? Comfort food could be like, you need a big greasy piece of pizza with sausage and meat. Maybe you want to have some fries. Maybe it's soup. For some people, it could just be pickles. Heck, it could even be celery or carrots if you're a rabbit that's in distress and you kind of want to have some comfort because, no, actually, no, you're not under distress because if you have a hunter after you, you just screw around with them. I guess that's a deep thought for another time. So I did highlight my bean and barley soup a little while back, and while I did enjoy it, part of me was trying to think that I remembered my mom had done it with a clearer broth as opposed to the one I did. The red tint came from a can of diced tomatoes to add a bit of a reddish flavor to it. But I'm thinking I want to do something different. And I found this recipe online it's actually a Ricardo recipe. Looks pretty good. Doesn't have as many vegetables in there, but it does have double the beans. Yep, double the beans. Huh. Well, that was unexpected. What was I talking about again? Oh, right. Double the beans. So you know what? This one, it uses red kidney beans yet again, but it also asks for chickpeas. So you're probably gonna get so much more fiber in there too. Gonna clean out your system too. Of course, if you're having this, I guess take precaution, protect yourself or clean yourself. Because luckily Costco's all stocked up on toilet paper again. So if you haven't already bought it because of the pandemic or someone think this is important, go for it. On a less serious note, let's go get started on some comfort food. My type of comfort food. Thank you very much. All right, ready to get started. So just like any basic soup, the trick to this is always start off with your onion. And I'm well equipped for it too because I do have the style of the time, an onion on my belt. So let's get started on this. See what this is going to look like. Just cut it off and seems to be a bit soft, but it still smells fine. Oh, crying now. Should not have done that. Well, at least it isn't game over for me with my onion. Hey, get that out of there. Thank you. It wouldn't fully be game over. I have a backup onion just in case of an emergency, because you never know when you're going to need it. So I'll just get this peeled off, sliced up and diced, and then I'll get it into my saucepan. The recipe also calls for 1 clove of garlic, but come on. I'm using 2 cloves of Spanish garlic. You can't tell a Ukrainian to minimize the garlic usage. You gotta increase it for them. Amateurs. Whoa. Great. So my onion is all chopped up now. And then the next step, start throwing it into the saucepan. That is once I get my saucepan all set up. confession, I'm not using the saucepan. I'm using the stock pot. I think we're gonna need more space for that too. So what we'll do is we'll start heating it on medium-high. And I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of olive oil so that we get the onions all crisped up. And then once we're done with that, we can throw in the garlic. And remember, if you're Ukrainian or if you're Eastern European, do not stinge on your garlic. Add extra. Start howling like a werewolf after that. All right, let's let this heat up. Let's get this garlic all set too. For the benefit of my voice, because everyone loves the sound of my voice, I've got all my garlic chopped up, ready to add it to the browned onion. Yeah, I just let this brown up a little bit in the oil. I'm sure you could get it even more brown to make it caramelized, but hey, that's not to overdo it, I guess. And then the next ingredient is actually a pretty interesting one I never thought I'd see. This recipe actually calls for a full teaspoon of turmeric. I keep hearing that it's supposed to be pretty healthy, but apparently you can actually put this in a broth for soup. Unbelievable. So let's do that. Funny, I've used turmeric more times this year than I have, well, in all the years since I've had this spice rack. It's really starting to broaden my palate now. Whew, boy. Starting to smoke a little bit now, so I guess it's time to add the next ingredients. I've got half a cup of lentils rinsed out, and I'm going to add directly into the soup. The recipe calls for green lentils, but I only have red lentils left in here. Frankly, I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference, because, I mean, lentils are lentils, and it's all going to taste great in the end. Funny enough, this is like 3 beans in here. And then lastly, half a cup of barley is going to be required. Like the last soup I did, actually only asked for a 1/4 cup, and I thought, this seems kind of low. So it's almost like this is compensating for the previous recipe. Half a cup here. Then we'll add that and coat it in the oil. And then we'll get to the juiciness. Oop, almost falling. And now that that's done, the next step is to add the juice into it. I'll admit, the main reason that I wanted to get this done today is because this was the same broth that I used for the soup the last time. And I'm like, shortly before the last day I can use it before it goes bad and have to throw it out. And I don't want this to go to waste, even though it only cost me $1. We're going to need about 6 cups of this stuff. And in case you're wondering, no, I don't have it on excessive heat anymore. I just put it to medium to cook. So 3. I feel like I should have some background music when I'm doing this now. Alright. Somebody cue some vampire hunting music, because that's what I'm in the mood for. No, not that. That's the American version. Give me the Japanese version. once you're done with that, you just have to let this come to a boil. And then after that, you would add your remaining beans. And actually some spinach too, oddly enough. Man, spinach with some barley and a broth. I feel like all you gotta do is add some pieces of beef in there and voila, you got some Italian wedding soup. Oh, I always loved getting that. Italian wedding's a pretty good one. But then corn chowder's also up there too. And mulligatawny. That you would mostly know if you're a Seinfeld fan. Seriously, I think that's the only reason most people around here would know it. But funny enough is that at Concordia years ago, there was one cafeteria where it had some very interesting soups. It was like, I remember it was a pepperoni and cheese pizza soup. I didn't see any cheese in there, but it damn well tasted tomatoey and there were chunks of pepperoni. And then one other time I was at that cafeteria and what did I see? Lo and behold, mulligatawny. And by God, I saw that, I thought, I gotta try a bowl of this just because of Seinfeld. So sometimes TV helps you learn things, discover stuff. It doesn't always rot your brain. They say the same thing about video games, but frankly, I don't believe that either. Legend of Zelda helped me with vocabulary when I was in elementary school. And now, for the benefit of the video, I'm turning this off, but I'll put it back on afterwards. So this looks like it's starting to boil now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it up. And then we're going to let this cook and simmer for about 40 minutes. So that should give it plenty of time to get all the barley expanded and the lentils done. And I made a mistake earlier. Turns out once this is done in 40 minutes, that's when you add your remaining ingredients. So my bad. So there's going to be plenty of time to kill. And as much as I want to say this is the only thing I'm cooking, I'm doing a double header today. So let's see what we're going to be whipping up very shortly. Alright, so while the remaining minutes of this soup is going to take place, the second thing I'm going to take care of are some pickles. I love pickles. I love having them on the side with my meal with a good smoked meat sandwich, or if I want to have a slice of it in a burger, but I also enjoy making them at home on my own as well. That's some good stuff as well. Sometimes I found that you could use pickling cucumbers that are those small, thicker ones, but I actually like having these mini Lebanese cucumbers instead, mostly because you could actually fit them better in a jar. Other ones, it's like you need a giant vat to get them in there. So you're going to need to wash this and then you can set up your stuff. Okay, so for your typical pickles, you would get these packs of mini cucumbers at most of the stores and they come in pack of 6. Beauty is that this pack fits into one mason jar. I'd say get 2 of them because the recipe for your brine is going to take around 2 mason jars altogether. So that's like 2 jars of 6 each. It's going to be beautiful. Then your next step after all of this is to add your other ingredients to give it the flavor. It's really basic stuff too. You just need to have 1 clove of garlic in each one of them, minimum. If you feel like you need more garlic, then you can add another clove of it. That's all you do is, I've already peeled my clove of garlic here, slice it in half, and then throw it in the jar, and then repeat for the next one. This you don't have to worry about cutting off the end, because you just want to get the flavor of it into that. Plus, you're going to notice that with the brine, it's going to turn the garlic blue or green. That's normal. That's just a chemical reaction that would happen with this. Then next, you can usually use fresh dill. I don't have any on me right now, but the next alternative is to use dill seeds. You'd have to put in about 1 teaspoon in each jar. So then your jars are going to be all set, and then after that, time to set up your brine. As for the brine, it's actually pretty basic. One recipe I found called for 2 cups of water with 2 cups of vinegar. Frankly, when I try to do it that way, just too much vinegar in there. So my trick is I take 1 cup of vinegar only, because you just need a little bit to give it a bit of flavor in there, with about 3 cups of water on the white sheet. I actually put a little bit more in there, more like 3.5 cups of water. Reason being is that you don't want to fill up in your jars once it's all prepared, and then only realize that you're missing some brine to be able to cover it all up. So it's just a little trick to keep it all uniform. And then the next ingredient is coarse pickling salt. And I think you could also use kosher salt with this too. Any kind of salt that's thick will get the job done. So this calls for like 1.5 tablespoons of it. So half a tablespoon, 1 full tablespoon, and 3. There. That's ready. And then you just gotta set this to boil. Then once it starts bubbling and boiling, you let it sit for a minute. And once that's done, you take it off and then transfer it into your jars. Ooh, and perfect timing too. So let's turn that off, and then we can add the next ingredients. What I've done is I've also taken 1 can of chickpeas and a can of red kidney beans, all drained together. I have in the same strainer because I want to be smart. Don't want to do too many trips. Let's add that into the soup. Gives a little bit more volume. And then also I cut up some spinach over here. You should put it like maybe around, I want to say, like 6 cups. I have no idea if this is too much or too little, but I'm just eyeballing it. That should give it a good amount of coverage in here. So that you stir it up and then let it cook for another 10 minutes, and then the soup is ready to serve. And lo and behold, the pickles are almost going to be ready too. Nice. So once you're done with that, you put the brine in, you seal it up with the lid, and then you want to keep it away from the direct sunlight for about at least 24 hours, just so it can pickle up a little bit. To make it also simpler, you can shake it up, tip it upside down because it's a watertight seal. That will mix the brine in completely. Oop. I'm going to have to get this one replaced eventually. So, luckily I have this privacy cover in here that's barely used. That's the perfect spot to get the salt ready. There we are. Pickles will be ready by tomorrow evening, and the soup is just going to need a little less than 8 minutes. So stick around, everyone. Okay, looks like it's really bubbling now, so it's ready. It smells pretty good too. I guess I'll give it a little serving of it, and we'll see what it's like. And here we are. Ooh, nice big serving over here. Looks like it's a lot more filling and plentiful than the other one I had. But that could have been just because more vegetables were in the other one than this. So let's see what this is like. Note to self, do not eat it when it's just off the stove. It's too hot. But it's tasty. Came off with a bit more of a yellowish color to it, but that's because of the turmeric that's in here. The blend of the beans, the chickpeas, the spinach, and lentils all give it a nice flavor. And the barley is all pretty awesome too. So there you are. This is one piece of comfort food we can all agree on. Soup. Whether you like it with meat, without meat, it's all good. And then I'll be waiting until tomorrow minimum to get some pickle action over here. So on that note, it's probably time to end this vlog before I make an ass myself yet again. So, thanks for watching this last edition of the Wandering Ukie Cheese Café. Latest, not last. I'm not going anywhere, people. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you like what you see. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment or give a suggestion. And together we can pontificate about the meaning of life, or pontificate about why all the good things in life are bad for you. I don't know, I guess it's like an exercise in the restraining yourself or making sure you don't have any, I don't know, you don't abuse yourself too much. Anyways, catch y'all later.